Today, we've got the secrets of Overwatch's toughest heroes, exclusive new gameplay from Assassin's Creed Origins you've gotta see, and all the weapons in the new Call of Duty. This is the IGN Show.
Welcome to the IGN Show. I'm Alana, this is James and Will, and we somehow convinced a whole lot of people to pay us to play video games, and that is awesome.
Coming up on today's show, we've got an IGN First, a brand new mission from Assassin's Creed Origins. You won't see this gameplay anywhere else. Plus, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a hopeful rookie, we'll tell you why FIFA 18 is worth checking out.
Then we'll review Lone Echo, which is one of the first VR games that feels like an actual game with a story and not just an hour-long tech demo. And prepare to be creeped out by the new game from the creators of Crisis Hunt Showdown. We've got an exclusive behind-the-scenes preview.
But first, it's time to talk about some of the secrets of Overwatch, specifically a class that I'm very bad at playing as, the tanks.
These characters do have a lot of health and can do some major damage in the right hands. We pity the team that doesn't end up picking at least one at the start of the match.
Unless it's me, you don't want that.
I know, you're a Hanzo main.
Lead Overwatch designer Jeff Kaplan gave us the inside scoop on each one, but forgot to mention why I keep getting hit by D.Va's ultimate.
Get good.
D.Va is the character that has the most bugs, that is the most likely to break, and when anything changes, D.Va is the most complicated because in essence, D.Va is actually two characters. The pilot who rides inside of the mech, it causes so many issues for the engine and for the technology behind the game, but we're so in love with the concept of this character. But D.Va has a lot of bugs. I think the funniest thing about Orisa was how we prototyped her. Jeff Goodman, our hero designer, he basically needed a character that didn't look like anybody else, so he took Zarya but put her in the Gothic skin, and then he took Bastion's weapon and made that the weapon that Zarya was carrying. So that way we could do playtests that had Zarya in it and people wouldn't get confused about who was Zarya and who was Orisa. At one point, we had a version of Reinhardt that was actually themed after a wildebeest. At another point, but the character was actually piloted by a little girl, and then we sort of switched and we went more with the traditional looking armor set. You know, a lot of people would have taken that character in the imposing, menacing direction, but I always loved Chris Metzen's description of who Reinhardt should be. He's the guy you want to hang out with in the bar who's always buying you drinks. Roadhog was a character that started out only with a piece of concept art, and it was just called The Junkers, and it was for a different game. And there were these amazing characters. You looked at them and you immediately had this imagination of what they all did. And when we were pitching Overwatch as a concept, we took that piece of concept art and said, well, the cool part about Overwatch is that any one of these characters could be a hero, and we used Roadhog to show that. Like, in some other game, this would just be like some enemy fodder that you'd be fighting, but in our game, this is a character that you get to play. We've all seen the typical video game characters that you tend to see, especially with females. And we were really questioning, like, well, why does it have to be that way? And I think a lot of the community was questioning that too. Like, can't video games represent other body styles? And one that we were super excited about was like a super strong, you know, weightlifting, bodybuilding female body type. We wanted to make this game with heroes, and they were all going to have their own unique abilities, and we're asking ourselves, how far can we push things? Arnold showed us this picture, and we looked at it and we're like, that's amazing, that's a hero I want to play, yes, he's in the game. And then Arnold sort of went on and he said, well, he talks. And we're like, yeah, that's still cool, and we still want him in the game. I don't think we've gone to crazy land yet. And then, you know, Arnold ended it with, by the way, he's from the moon. And we're like, yeah, all right, at this point, it just doesn't even matter. Winston is in the game.
After taking a hiatus in 2016, the Assassin's Creed series is back in a big way with its latest chapter, Origins. Players will get to unravel a conspiracy in ancient Egypt, and we've got exclusive gameplay of a new side mission in this IGN First.
Hey everyone, Brandon here. I'm joined by Ash Ismail, the game director of Assassin's Creed Origins. We're going to be taking a look at a side quest called What's Yours Is Mine, and Ash is going to be walking us through it.
We're at the Giza Plateau, near the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, you can see them right there on the side.
They're awesome, super cool location. We're about halfway through the game. One thing we tried to do is be very respectful of the architecture that we know exists.
Yeah.
So you'll see that for all the known tombs and pyramids, that they actually really respect the architecture. Of course, we add our own, hidden chambers, things that have not been discovered yet.
Little secrets.
Of course. But we try to respect what is known already. Here, Bike's gonna pull out a torch. Torches are not unique to pyramids or tombs. You can actually pull it out whenever you want. You can even pull it out, drop it on the ground, use it to light your arrow on fire.
Really?
Yeah. It's very systemic. You can do whatever you want. You can throw it to create distractions with the guards. You can fight with it even. There's a lot you can do with a torch.
That's awesome.
So here we're inside the tomb. We're still looking for somebody or our stuff. But tombs are also places where there's, Bake says it here. He's asking for forgiveness for taking this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean this is a holy place. So.
Exactly, but he needs it for his journey. Here we found a rare weapon, and we're just about to equip that. So this is a scepter, a rare scepter.
Thank you for watching this brief look at the What's Yours Is Mine side quest in Assassin's Creed Origins. For the full 18-minute gameplay video, head to go.ign.com/ACOrigins.
Coming up, we'll take you to a virtual firing range and try out all the weapons you'll be wielding in Call of Duty World War II. Plus, we'll review one of the best VR games out there, go looking for giant horrific spiders in Hunt Showdown, and break down all the changes coming to FIFA 18. The IGN Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the IGN Show. Hunt Showdown is an intense first-person shooter from the developers of Crysis that mixes horror, action, and multiplayer combat into one nightmarish package. Crytek gave us an exclusive look inside the history and future of their passion project.
Ostrom was making a web-based game called Hunt, and the idea was you had 4 friends go in, cooperative play, randomly generated levels.
It was more like Left 4 Dead, an action brawler, you just blaze your way through zombie hordes.
They've produced some really, really fantastic stuff.
Crytek went through, let's say, a difficult time, so we had to restructure the company.
Unfortunately, that meant the closure of the Austin studio, and we moved Hunt then back to Frankfurt, where the main offices are. It took us, I think, 3 to 4 months to look at the game, look at the potential of the game. There was a game there. It was just a very different game to what the core competency in Frankfurt has been.
4 days ago, NASA picked up a high-frequency signal emanating from the center of the mountain.
Frankfurt Studio has always been making the Crysis games. It's been making the Far Cry game before. This is where the first-person shooter skill set lies.
Locate and evacuate. We've done really realistic games in the past, visually. Sandboxy games where you can freely pick your path and walk through the environment and be creative in it. And we try to go more in this direction.
Keep the same name, same sort of setting and era, but the game would essentially be rebooted from the beginning. What we wanted to achieve with Hunt in the long term was sustained tension for players so that they are never really sure quite what is going to happen.
It's an anticipation. You're out there in the woods, you're alone in the dark, the environment seems to be a threat to you, you hear things but you don't know what it is.
Hunt is not necessarily a game that relies on jump scares. It is not a linear horror experience. You have to think about it more as a game where you and your friend rely on your senses. Did I hear anything? Did I see any movement?
Be sure to tune in tomorrow because we'll have part 2 of our exclusive look at Hunt Showdown.
It's nearly fall, which means one thing. It's time for the brand new edition of FIFA. So here's the dilemma.
ditch last year's edition and upgrade, or keep what you have.
If you're on the fence about upgrading to FIFA 18 or just want to get in on the action for the first time, IGN editor Joe Scripples has 5 features that will help you decide.
More than perhaps any genre, sports games are released alongside a barrage of developer speak. FIFA 18 is no different. At a preview event, we were given a 40-minute walkthrough of jargon and bluster, but crucially, we then got to play several matches of the game's exhibition and journey modes. That gave us an actual point of comparison with last year's entry, FIFA 17, and with that in mind, I present 5 features that will actually make a difference in this year's FIFA. Within a few minutes of playing FIFA 18, simply using the left stick actually felt both easier and more natural. Regular movement now feels immediately responsive. Players naturally twist, tap and squirm as you do the same on the analog stick without the long animation-related delays of the last game. The best players feel beautifully mobile when you're using them and horribly elusive when you're in defense. But there's no doubt that movement feels different almost immediately. In a basic sense, the Journey's second season, or the hilariously dramatic The Journey Hunter's Return, as we're supposed to call it, is a simple continuation of the first FIFA story mode. Boy done good Alex Hunter is back and is beginning his next chapter with your chosen club. EA's touting the main change as the fact that you can now customise Alex, gearing him up with the best sports casual clubber and a ludicrous haircut. It's also hinted at sections where you play as different characters, and nodded towards the lure of football outside of England with the inclusion of Cristiano Ronaldo as a voiced character. To me though, it's the change in tone that feels different. The first Journey was all about being in the ascendancy, a no-mark kid rising up the ranks, overcoming the sheer horrifying ignominy of having to maybe play for Aston Villa for a bit, to become loved by the nation. In my hands-on of the sequel, the first thing that happens to Alex is that 60,000 people boo his being subbed onto the pitch. There's a pantomime thrill to the idea of being a footballing hate figure and seeing how that plays out, and I'm very much hoping that that's the crux of Hunter's return. FIFA's shot for authenticity with its stadia before, of course, the right look, the right chance, but this time they're aiming for something less tangible, the right feeling. That's pushed for partly by making clear the differences between different countries' approaches to watching the game. South American crowds, for example, are peppered with gigantic multi-tier flags, their stadiums lit to look warmer and more humid than their Western European counterparts. The crowds themselves now feel more like a group of people than the bacterial uniform 2D sprites they once did. They'll swarm towards celebrating players, even climbing over seats to get to a prime hugging position. It looks almost unnerving compared to the stately, respectful crowds of old. Playing FIFA with friends almost always means foregoing substitutes because of flow-breaking menus and complex ethics disputes about when it's cool to press pause. FIFA 18's solution is remarkably simple. As games wear on, any break in play will see an unobtrusive bar pop up in the corner, suggesting a possible substitute, perhaps to replace a tiring winger or a yellow-carded defender. Hold the right trigger, press X, and the sub immediately comes on. Engine improvements are perhaps the most nebulous developer promises we're given each year, but EA has gone some way towards proving that its second year with Frostbite has really made a difference. During our presentation, a picture of Chelsea's Eden Hazard in FIFA 17 was flashed up, followed by the same player in FIFA 18, and the crowd actually gasped. Much is made every year of FIFA's perceived style over substance philosophy, but it's impossible to deny that there's some real substance to the style this time. FIFA 18's instant replay feature looks more like Uncharted 4's photo mode at this point, with beautiful lighting and depth of field effects playing across pitches full of immaculately sculpted, sweaty people.
After the break, we'll review Lone Echo, a game that might finally make you take the plunge into virtual reality. Apparently it's that good. Plus, the new Call of Duty is heading back to World War II, and we'll try out all the new weapons. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the IGN Show. The Oculus Rift has a bunch of really cool and unique VR experiences, but the one thing that's been missing are actual full-fledged games with a story. Well, that's about to change with the release of Lone Echo, which even has a fun multiplayer component too.
With some of the best VR movement I've experienced, sharp graphics, a lengthy story, and an excellent and free multiplayer mode, Lone Echo is one of the most impressive and complete-feeling VR games out there. There's a good sense of companionship between your robot character Jack and his human partner Liv as their space station orbiting Saturn starts going haywire. Dialogue decisions don't mean much, but every interaction is well acted, with some genuine emotion behind them.
Do I get a hat?
A hat, fancy boots, shiny spurs, will fix you right up.
The story is fine, but moving in 0G using your arms to push and pull yourself with a little help from jets on your wrist is the star of Lone Echo. It's a surprisingly smooth and intuitive way to get around. I got the hang of it quickly and was soon impressing myself by how easily I could navigate. There are also some great views. The puzzles Lone Echo puts in your path aren't complex, they're mostly about finding an object and putting it in place to repair a damaged piece of equipment. Later in the 5-hour campaign, they often make you avoid touching walls in the process, testing your mastery of the fantastic movement. I did run into a bug that cost me over an hour of progress and a couple of less serious hiccups, but they only slowed me down a little. Echo Arena is the free multiplayer component of Lone Echo, and it's an actual VR sport where you really put the 0G maneuverability you've practiced to good use. The interesting challenge is you have to learn to understand momentum. Chasing the disc is all wrong. You have to chase where it's going to be. And there are a lot of more subtle tricks. Launching off another player who's already moving doubles your speed, for example. The biggest weakness is that there's only one mode and one map. Granted, that's just like real-world sports, but I hope it sees more variety patched in. Lone Echo is one of those games that demonstrates the value of VR and hand tracking. It feels great, it couldn't exist any other way, and the fact that you can experience the multiplayer without even buying it means it's one of the first things any Oculus Rift owner should download.
I have a visual on the anomaly. It seems to be growing more unstable.
Hey guys, remember we're on Monday through Friday, so make sure you set your DVR to record new episodes so you don't miss one. In just a few minutes, we'll take you inside Call of Duty World War II and try out all the gear you'll be heading into the battle with this fall. But first, here's some of our favorite cosplay we've seen lately. Why? Why not?
Welcome back to the IGN Show. For the past decade, the Call of Duty franchise has looked towards future tech for inspiration, creating an almost sci-fi feel at times. But this fall, the series is going back to its roots, way back for World War II.
World War II, you say?
I do.
Which means real-world gear like the M1 Garand with that ping. Here's a sneak peek at what will be in your arsenal.
More than 5 million M1 Garands were produced in World War II and used in every branch of the U.S. military. The M1 Garand is distinguished by its automatically ejecting end-block clip, which, when expelled from the magazine, makes a loud ping. The M1911 is a semi-automatic pistol used by U.S. forces in World War II. An early and enduring example of a recoil-operated pistol, the 1911 is said to be the most copied pistol design in the world. The Kar 98K was the standard service rifle for soldiers in the German Wehrmacht during World War II. Unlike its semi-automatic Allied counterpart, the M1 Garand, the Kar 98 is bolt-operated. The Thompson submachine gun, or Tommy gun, is an American-made firearm that saw use in the hands of U.S. Armed Forces and St. Louis Police. The gun was arguably immortalized, though, by its applications in organized crime. The M1 Bazooka is a recoilless anti-tank rocket launcher used by the United States. While there are instances of the bazooka disabling heavy tanks with improbable hits, the M1 was mostly used to disable light armor and destroy machine gun nests. The MP40 is a German-made submachine gun widely used by Axis forces in World War II. The MP40 possessed many innovative features for the time, like a dual-feed 32-round magazine and folding stock. The Lewis gun was the prevailing light machine gun of World War I, but the high demand for small arms in World War II forced many back onto the front lines. The Browning Assault Rifle, or BAR, is a light machine gun used by the United States in both World Wars. While remarkably mobile for a light machine gun platform of the era, its small 20-round magazine left much to be desired. The iconic Luger is a semi-automatic pistol used by the German Wehrmacht. While generally accepted to be inferior to the M1911, it was coveted by Allied forces as a trophy of battle. The M1903 Springfield is a bolt-action rifle used by the US in World War I and II. While the Springfield was primarily used as a sniper rifle, some riflemen also received the M1903 due to an early shortage of M1 Garands. The Winchester 1897 is an American-made shotgun that was manufactured as a response to a demand for close-quarters firearms in World War I. Due to its applications, the Winchester earned the name trench gun.
On the next episode of the IGN Show, we'll hang out with the Losers Club from Stephen King's It and strap some VR headsets on their faces.
Plus, we'll exclusively reveal more superstars coming in WWE 2K18, and hopefully none of us will be hit by a folding chair.
And then you'll experience the sheer terror of charging towards an army of medieval soldiers in Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Now that we said what's in tomorrow's show, we have to say goodbye.
Remember to keep it locked to IGN and check out the IGN app.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Have you guys ever been hit with a chair?
I've never been hit with a chair in my life, I can be honest.
I can imagine maybe as a kid.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened. It could have happened at some point that I don't remember.